I'm Les, the Adult Programming Librarian at Jessamine County Public Library. If you're like me, and most Americans, you probably have a few extra t-shirts lying around your drawers. Maybe a lot more than a few. In fact, Americans throw out 16 million tons of clothing every year. Only about 15% of that amount ends up recycled or donated. The rest goes into landfill. That means over 10 million tons of clothing in the landfills every year. That's sad because there are so many great things you can make out of clothes, especially those old t-shirts. So today, I'm going to show you very quickly how to make t-shirt yarn, which is a great resource and can be used for dozens of cool projects. Then we're going to take that t-shirt yarn and turn it into a braided placemat, or if you have time and a lot of t-shirts, a whole braided rug. So let's get started. For this project, you will need a few old t-shirts, needle and thread, scissors, and some strong tape. First, cut the hem, neck, and sleeves off of your t-shirt so that you have one large rectangle of fabric. Next, cut the rectangle of fabric into a series of connected strips. Starting about 2 inches in from the edge, cut from one seam toward the opposite seam, stopping when you get about 2 inches from the end. Repeat until your piece looks like this. Now open up the piece, spreading the strips apart from the center where they're connected. In the picture you can see I've used a Sharpie to mark dotted lines along where the piece will be cut so that it becomes one continuous strip of fabric. Starting at the bottom edge, go from the bottom of one strip to the bottom of the strip above it. So you're going to cut in a diagonal for every single line of strips. And now you'll have one continuous strand of t-shirt yarn. To get it to roll up and form yarn properly, just take it, stretch it taut, and pull it through your hand, like this. And then roll it up into a nice ball and you're ready to go. Once you have 3 balls of yarn, tape the ends to a hard surface and start braiding. Sometimes it's easier to braid with shorter pieces of t-shirt yarn, but you end up with just a little section of what you need. So how do we continue if we just have these ends? Very simple. Cut a tiny hole in the end of your piece, like so. In the end of the piece that you want to attach, also cut a tiny hole. Put one piece through the other until the hole appears on the other side, like so. Then take the end of that piece, thread it back through the hole, and pull until you have a nice knot. You can do that on each end and then continue to braid. When you feel your braid is long enough, it's time to start sewing. First, stitch the 3 loose ends together, then begin curling and stitching the sides of the braid back to itself as you curl. You want to make sure you keep it flat . Hand sewing while slow has a couple advantages over machine sewing. You can use your hands for any size piece. So you can make as big a rug as you like. You can also sew through any thickness of yarn, any thickness of braid. So your braids could be enormous if you so desired. If you're using machine, you'll want to try a zigzag stitch going back and forth between the edges of each braid all the way around. As you spin your piece and your piece gets wider, you'll hit a limit to how far you can go. Here we have our finished placemat. This piece took approximately 3.5 adult small size t-shirts. So you can get a good gauge for how much bigger you can get if you have 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. You can make a giant rug if you'd like. There are other fun things you can do with t-shirt yarn, and we'll explore some of those on future episodes. Until then, thanks for watching.